If you find value in the content we provide, consider the tip jar. All the details are in the show notes of every episode. Thanks in advance. This has been an ACB community call.
Today's Unmute Presents community call was hosted on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Unmute. Hope everyone's doing well. As usual, we want to make sure that we get everyone's first questions answered first. So once we get through everyone's first questions, then we'll take second questions. And please be respectful and give everyone the same opportunity to get their questions asked as you would. Today's question of the day is, what is your favorite note-taking app and why? Is it the stock app, a different app? And what is the reason that you love it so much, whatever it is you're using? Also with us today, we got Michael Doy. Say hello, Michael.
Hi, everyone.
And so you have some hot off the press news you're going to be sharing with us today. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Go for it.
So this weekend, I was able to re-release the first VoiceOver training app back into the App Store. VO Starter version 4.0 is now live. It has new lessons, new training materials. Everything's been completely rewritten. I believe there's over 30 different pieces of content broken up into basically 8 or 9 chapters. So you could go through that, learn things about the rotor, braille screen input, using the keyboard, all kinds of things with VoiceOver on the iPhone. It's a totally free app, so go check it out. It's live now, and thanks, Marty, for letting me talk about that for just a moment. Yeah, it's really nice having it back in the store, as there is a need for apps to teach using VoiceOver for people getting started. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. And everyone go check that out. It's a really awesome app. So there you go. And Michael Babcock, how's it going?
It's going well, Marty. And yeah, I'm super excited about some of the improvements Michael's made to the app, especially for people who just want to jump in there and hear what they need to hear. And you'll have to go check out the app to be able to figure that out. So real quick, I'll go over the app, the recent episodes that we've published on Unmute. If you're not subscribed to Unmute, feel free to search out Unmute Presents in your favorite podcast app. While you're subscribing, don't forget to take a moment or two to leave a quick review, especially if you enjoy it. Yesterday we posted, Demasi and I, TW21, which is called We Did It First. We talk about VoIP solutions. We talked about email services, and we also had a brief conversation about something else that we did first before other podcasters started talking about it. And of course, we talked a little DNS backup as well. On Sunday, we published a how-to episode showing you how to leave a review on your favorite podcast. And of course, I didn't want to go in and leave a review of our own podcast. I had to go do one for Double Tap there. And then on Saturday, we published IAcast 190, which is beats up, threads down. Kind of gives it away there in the title there, Michael, what that episode's about. And that is the new beats and then the threads decline in users. Friday Finds, Lynn did something kind of cool. If you haven't checked it out yet, she did an awesome job and published her own Friday Finds and put that show together all by herself. So I really want people to check that out and give it a listen. It's called Don't Text and Walk. You'll have to hear why she tells you not to do that. Lucy published an episode on Thursday talking all about accessing books, and she gave you a couple of tools you can use with your Lady A. So if you've ever wanted to read books or you're curious, how does that work? Check out Lucy's episode on Thursday. And then we had the Shell Phone Show recently published on Wednesday. And that one today, or that one this week, we talked about moving files on your Blind Shell Classic 2. So there we go, Marty. That's a brief rundown of what's been published at Unmute.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right. Well, we got some hands. So Sheila, take it away.
All right. First hand is Beth.
Hey, Beth, how's it going?
Beth, you're muted.
Okay. Yeah, here I am.
Yes, you are.
Just are you still, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, I was wondering first about the note taker. I use on my phone voice memos. And
Okay.
that seems to work really well. Now
That's really for audio, but it's still kind of the
it's
same as
audio.
well.
Yeah, but that's how I, take notes or like choir practice or whatever. But yeah, notes on my phone. I do dictate or write notes on the notes app. Yeah, but my question was, when I go like to the ACB community email and I find a Zoom meeting that I want, and then I have to get out of my email before the meeting begins or lock my phone for some reason. And then when I get back in the email, it takes me back to the beginning, like when there was gospel sing. That was way later in the email. But how can I keep it so it will stay? Because then I have to find it again, and that can be difficult.
So there really isn't a way to keep it where you want it to be. However, what you can try, and this is what I would try, and I've not tried it myself yet, but I just thought about it while you were talking there, Beth. And I apologize for delaying a moment. I wanted to verify the gesture to do it. What you could try is, if you didn't know, you can do a 2-finger triple tap. And so if you use 2 fingers and tap on your phone 3 times, that brings up the item chooser. And then you can start searching for gospel if you knew that was a name in the part of the call that you want. And then that should move your focus quickly down to that. So again, that's 2-finger triple tap. That'll give you a list of all of the items that are currently on the screen, which probably in that email would be 1,000 or 500 items or something like that. No worries though, because there's that search at the top. So double tap in the search, write or dictate gospel, and then that should highlight the gospel items in the email. And then you just double tap there on that item to move your focus there, and try that and see if that helps you with being able to navigate it more.
Oh, that's what the item chooser was. I never knew what that was. So
yep. So 2-finger triple tap.
I learned all about that last week too.
Oh, cool.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Belle. Thanks, Beth. Thanks,
Thank
Beth.
you.
Sheila, who do we got next?
Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Doing well, thanks. I use the Native Notes app. I love it. It's easy. I can use Siri or just go in and dictate, and it's easy to edit. So my question involves sharing a news article via email on my iPad. I can send and receive email, no problem. I can even share a YouTube video. But when it comes to news articles, I think I was able to do it years ago. I've had the device for almost 4 years, but I can't do it. I send it to the person that I want, and it doesn't get sent. And I don't know why that is. I have no problem with any other email. And like I said, even with YouTube, I can share it via email.
Do you want to forward an email? Is that what you're trying to do? Is just to forward an email? No, I'll go to like the share option on a news article and fill in, go from the contacts or whatever. And I hit send, and it doesn't send it. And it's not just with one news source. It seems to be anything. I'm not able to do it anymore.
So when you press send, does it act like it's sending and then the person doesn't get it?
No, it doesn't act like it's sending. It does. I have the whoosh, and it doesn't even do that.
So one thing I'm wondering, do you have a subject line in there? Does it put one?
It puts one in there. Yeah. Usually it'll put in whatever the name of the article is or the site or whatever. Yeah. Everything looks fine. There's the link to it in the body of the email. I hit send and nothing happens.
So my only other thought is I wonder if you try adding a little bit of text other than the link, if that will do it, but that is peculiar. It should just work.
It should. And like I said, I think it used to be able to, but for the last, I don't know how long, it just doesn't do it. So then what I do is I go to my phone, I find the article, and then I can send it from the phone, no problem, but it doesn't send it from the iPad. So you've just suggested just put more.
Is your iPad
text.
up to date, like the same operating system as your phone?
Absolutely. It's totally up to date. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you read a lot of news? Are you like a big news reader and then you like to
iPad,
share?
All the time. Yeah.
Have you thought about doing like an RSS reader and then for sharing just the news article straight from your RSS reader instead of doing it through email?
No, I haven't thought about doing that. No.
It would be the same effect because you're sharing it through email to somebody else, right? So it doesn't matter if it's coming from like Apple News or an RSS reader, it's still sharing the content, right? So what my thought is also check to make sure. I'm wondering if like the default email address that you're using on your iPad, sometimes it makes you re-enter a password. So I wonder if something's just wonky with one of the email. Do you have multiple emails on your iPad or just?
No, I have the one. And like I said, I send and receive no problem from it. But like I said, the weird thing is that I can send YouTube videos with no issue. It just seems to be anything other than that. So it's.
Is that from Apple News or what news source?
It's anything, even if I'm like from Google News, any source, it seems like, if I go to share, and they all have different share options and the share is usually in different places, but regardless of what it is or where it is.
Yeah, I would try adding a little bit of text to the email and see if that does anything.
Okay.
And I would also suggest maybe double checking the to box who you're sending it to, that email, make sure it's actually in there correct. If you're missing something, then the send button might not let you send it. But other than that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do that, but I'll try that. And if not, then I'll come back next week and tell you guys.
I mean, it could be anything like it's sticking an extra space somewhere in there or putting an extra something, so maybe just double check that to box and the address is the same,
Okay. All right. I'll try that. Thanks.
And I do see we have a couple of other hands. I'll throw two suggestions in here as well that you can consider. Make sure that you're using the share option in the news app and not the share option in the news article, because if it's sharing from the news article, there could be something not working properly in that email share option there. So that could be where you're running into an issue. And then the other thing is, remember Apple accessibility. Last I knew, they can actually remote into your iPad and see what exactly is going on and then tell you, hey, this is what we need to do, or here's why it's not sending. And that might be a solution as well.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks.
All right.
Looks like we have the Clubhouse.
One in Clubhouse. Yeah, Bill.
We have Mark.
Hey, Mark. You'll have to hit that unmute button in the bottom right corner. And if you're on iOS
Good day from Montreal. How are you doing?
Doing
good.
Great,
How are
Mark.
you?
Good job that you guys do. It's tremendous. Kudos to you. I just did the review of your podcast, Michael, on Sunday. As you know, I sent you a thing on Mona, and hopefully you'll get that eventually. It was a little stinker, though, because in Overcast, I got a surprise, and that's why I got back to you on that one, because in Overcast, you cannot do the review right from there, and I had to go into the darn Apple app and do it, the Apple Podcast app, and I did it, and not a problem. So that's going well. My go-to app for writing stuff or saving stuff is Notes. I really like doing that. I do my bill payments in there if they're monthly, so I know where they are, and it works for me really well. I have used voice memos for voice type things. We were at the Montreal Highland Games a couple of weeks ago and recorded some stuff there that was happening in the atmosphere outside. It was great, and so that's what I use. I'm doing the beta Be My Eyes at the moment, the inside beta. Earl Zwicker and I, Earl, my buddy in Toronto, and I were one of the first ones to sign into the public. But interestingly, when I went into the public beta just to try it, and I did have to go back to the insider one, because I'm using iOS 17 point whatever it is, 5 beta, they hadn't changed that setting so that when you took a picture, it went back to the main screen. They have changed it for us insiders, but not if you're using iOS 17 and you're on the top of the list, you may have issues. When you go in and try to take a picture, it'll send you back to the main screen. So just beware of that. I'm sure they'll fix it. That's it for me from Montreal.
Well, thank you
Perfect,
very
Mark,
much.
and-
We appreciate it.
Yep, and we
No
appreciate you
problem.
jumping in, and thanks for connecting with us and dropping that review. And well, that's one of the things about betas is you never know how things will go. Belle, was Mark the only one we had in Clubhouse?
At the moment.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. Who do we got next, Sheila?
Nolan.
Hey,
Hey,
Nolan.
Nolan, how you doing?
Hey, thank you so much, Michael Babcock, for responding to the email. Did you get my response last week from regarding the situation?
So I may not have, and I will check, Nolan, and thank you for bringing that up. I meant to mention it at the top. If anyone did email us last week, we have migrated our email to a better solution. So Marty and I will both know when someone's replied to someone's email. But the side effect of that is I know we lost one or two emails. So Nolan, if you can recap real quick what your response was, I'd appreciate that. And we shouldn't have this problem in the future.
Basically, what I responded to was the issue with VoiceOver not allowing me to display some of the options. What I was trying to use was Option Shift M to get into the option to
Pin to the dock.
pin the application to the dock, like Safari and Spotify. And the only way to get around that is to keep in dock, which was another option by using the up arrow key, and that worked, but the Option Shift key will not.
Gotcha. So
I'm
you
wondering
can't.
if there's a problem that might be affecting it, or if I'm not hitting the correct key.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, because I did find your email here, and so it looks like you're not able to move items around on the dock, correct?
I'm not able to pin items into the dock at all.
Okay.
There's
What macOS are you on again?
macOS 11.7.9, Big Sur, and it's on a mid 2014 21.5 inch Apple iMac.
Michael D, do you know if pinning items to the dock was different back then? Because I don't.
It back then it was the way I do it is if I have an application open. Is this an application or a document? Can you remind me?
It's a application. So basically there was a software update that was pushed out like the week before last week, and Safari somehow got moved in the update out of the dock. So I was trying to go in and figure out a solution to the problem to put it into the dock. And what's now making me angry is now I can't use Option Shift M. So now I have to go through a stupid menu by hitting the up arrow key and listen to the option again and go to the options menu, which sucks.
So I think actually I understand the confusion. So you're trying Option Shift M, right?
Yes.
You need Control Option Shift M. So you're missing the Control key because it's the VO keys Shift M. Control Option Shift M.
So that brings up the menu that I need.
That brings up the context
dock.
menu in macOS. Yes.
Then you could go to options and keep in dock is the one you're looking for.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so try that.
In the future, if there's things you want to save to the dock, what you could do is go into settings, turn on recent dock items, which adds like a little separate space all the way on the far right side. So say like, for example, you're
I don't think that's available back then, Marty. That's newer.
11.
Okay.
I don't think that's available in macOS 11. That was what was throwing me off, and I didn't see that you weren't pressing the control. So I think that'll help you though with adding that control to that keystroke.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to remember that next time. Yeah, thank you for your help. I really appreciate that a lot, and thank you so much for checking in on that, because I knew VoiceOver, as known as it defaults to let's see. So it defaults for some strange reason in the setup assistant. When you first set up your Mac, it defaults to hardware keys, and I'm trying to figure out a method to change it to software so it can also use software all the time instead of hardware. Because every time I turn the iMac back on, it tends to go back to hardware, and I'm having a problem with that too.
Okay, so and then we'll go on to the next person after this one. But just to make sure we're understanding correctly, your function keys are controlling hardware and not controlling software, correct?
Yes.
Michael, do you know where that setting is? I don't remember where that setting is in Big Sur. Honestly, it's probably under keyboard, but there is a setting. I would imagine
keyboard, but I'm pretty sure it's under keyboard. There is a checkbox in there, but you'll have to look under the setting, system preferences, which is what it's called in that version. Go to keyboard, and then it should be in keyboard somewhere.
Yep. So thank you, Nolan. Okay. Appreciate it, and hopefully those will help you out.
Yeah, I will. Next, I will send you. I'll send you an email again if there is a problem.
Perfect.
Thanks, Nolan.
You're welcome.
Right. Carol.
Hey, Carol. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Carol.
Anyway, hi. I've heard great things about y'all. This is my first time calling. So.
Oh, well, welcome and thanks for being here.
Okay, so I could really use some help here. So I have some trainings I'm doing, virtually, and I have to do some write-ups, and it's not my strength there. So I was looking into some of the the chatbots and the AI, a few. I guess I was just wondering if you could recommend. So I'm both searching for topics and then getting information on it, and then also inputting, writing up something and then wanting editing and whatnot. So
what platform are you on? Windows, Mac, or what are you on?
Oh, I am on my iPad, and I also have a MacBook Pro, but I like my iPad better.
So there is a Chat GPT app for iPad. It's that will work with the keyboard. So I would, that's a really good chat bot. The Bing app is also on iPad, where
especially if you have a 365 account, is good. The Bing one.
Well, as long as you have a Microsoft account, it doesn't have to be a 365. As long as you
I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't. It's a free account. Just to get from Microsoft, and you can save searches and things like that through Bing. And if you want to use Chat GPT, I believe you'll need an Open AI account. Can you use it for free if you don't have that?
Yes. Well, you need an account for OpenAI to use Chat GPT for free. Yes, you have to have an account with them, so it's free though.
On the iPad,
an open chat. Did you say chat account?
Chat GPT account or OpenAI.
Or OpenAI. Okay.
Mm-hmm. If you download the Chat GPT app, it will prompt you, I'm sure, to get one.
Yes, it does.
Okay, sure.
It walks you through the sign-up process.
So, I guess I'm not that skilled with technology, but so, and then once, those things are saved and stuff. I was playing with YOU.com, and I was having some trouble with that one. But so once I write something up, I have to send them out. So, you can save what you've written up.
Yeah, I should be able to copy the information out and then paste it into whatever document editor you want to use to edit it or do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, you can just copy it. And with Chat GPT, I'm not sure with Bing, but with Chat GPT, it saves your conversations. It has a history.
Okay, so just find it in the history.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can I ask you another question, which I'm sort of struggling with? So as part of a project that I have to do to get my CEUs, I have to put together I have to say cut and paste, copy and paste, whatever, and put together pictures with description. So I have to lay out a class. Basically, I have to do a class layout, but it has to be a visual layout. Got any ideas on how to do that?
So does it need to be a presentation or a long document? Or so presentation, Keynote on iPad works pretty well if it needs to be a slideshow.
No, not a slideshow. No, it just needs to be just like a picture,
a
kind of
page
like
with like
outline
text and
of,
graphics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Pages, you can do that in as well.
Pages is good. Mm-hmm.
I can do that in Pages. Well, then, I mean, like, so just search your images and then just copy, cut and paste or whatever.
Yeah, you could just add your images right into Pages and it will do that. So
the only thing I will say is if you're searching for images and you're just trying to get stuff off the internet, you want to maybe try to go to a place where you can get high resolution. Because if you copy them and put them on like a Pages document and go to print them, then the pictures are going to come out probably not looking so great just because they're going to be a low resolution for the internet. And you typically need a little bit of a higher resolution if you're printing stuff.
Okay, so this will be a digital document.
Then you should be fine.
Then I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Well, awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yep. Good luck. If you need anything else, come on back.
I will be back. Thank you.
All right, Brad.
Hello, hey, Brad. How's it going?
Hey, guys. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yep, we can. How you doing, Brad?
Got a lot of voiceover chatter going on. Listen, I missed the beginning of Nolan's comment. It sounded like he was trying to get something on the doc. In addition to the methods you guys pointed out, another method I use, and you can do this for either applications or even folders, is in the case of an application, open your applications folder, Command-Shift-A, locate the application. In this case, I believe he was looking for Safari, and use the keyboard command Control, Command-Shift, and the letter T, and that will put something on the dock for you. And you'll also notice when you do that, if you go into the shortcut menu for the item that is on the dock, the checkbox to keep in dock is not checked. So this is a different way of doing it. I think the way you guys mentioned, you have to have the program open and then go into the shortcut menu to select that checkbox. And then on the other issue, you mentioned the keyboard. In Big Sur, yes, it is in the keyboard preferences, but one caveat to that, I have found not all keyboards support changing the behavior of the F keys. I've had a Logitech keyboard. It was a very nice keyboard. I bought it one time, nice and thin, and used solar power, so I didn't even have to worry about batteries. But when you went into keyboard preferences, the item to change the behavior of your F keys was not there, and there was no way to do it. And since the FN key was in the six-pack area, it kind of required three hands. And so I put that keyboard back in the box, and it went back to Amazon 10 minutes after opening it. So beware of that, certainly on an extended. If it's a smaller keyboard like the K380 where the FN key is right down there on the left next to your VoiceOver modifiers, you're okay.
Yeah.
But so keep that in mind. I'm not sure what keyboard Nolan had there. But and as for that switch in Big Sur, like in previous ones, it was a checkbox, but beginning in Ventura, they've moved where it is. It took me a little while to find
what a
it.
surprise. They didn't keep
set.
something in the same place.
Yeah, I know. It drives you crazy. And they rearranged some things in Ventura. They no longer call it preferences. They call it settings. And they're trying to make things look a little bit more like they do on the iOS and iPad OS. You'll find there's a button for keyboard shortcuts. I think it just says shortcuts. And it opens up another dialog, another window. And you have on the left is a list of categories. And on the right are little options you can either toggle on or toggle off. And in that list of categories now, at the very bottom is, and I cannot remember how it's labeled, forgive me. I just remember it's at the very bottom. And you navigate to the bottom of that column on the left and then stop interacting, then move over to the right. And there is our friendly checkbox to change the behavior of F keys. So
awesome. Well, thanks so much, Brad. Appreciate that.
Hey, not a problem, guys. Good work.
Yeah, you have a great day.
All right. Malcolm.
Hello, guys.
Hey, Malcolm. How you doing?
I'm well. How's everybody over there?
Good. Thank you.
Good. Three things. One, the gentleman, the first you had on, mentioned an app for VoiceOver, but I didn't get the name of the app.
So that is VO Starter.
VO Starter in the App Store?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Number two, my go-to note taker is the note taker that's on the app, on the iPhone 13, and I'm using 16.6 iOS. My question is regarding that app. I have set up notes that I have different categories. One is TV shows. That's the main name of the folder. And then under that, I have headings. And I have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And under each day, I have the list of the TV shows. Now with VoiceOver, how do I go to, let's say, Sunday and just go to each program individually without having to hear everything all at once?
You could probably do a single finger swipe to the right. If you put your finger at the top of wherever you are and do a single finger swipe down, it'll go through each thing individually. Down, not across. You swipe to the right, but it will take you down individually each item instead of all the items at once.
But I think what you're saying there, if I'm understanding this, is if you swipe to your note, it reads everything to you, and you can't swipe through each of those items. Is that correct?
Well, if I slide to the right until I get to, say, Sunday, then I slide to the right again, it reads all of those programs for Sunday, one right after the other, where I want to go and under Sunday say, like TV show SWAT. Next one down would be such and such and such. Go to each one so that I can read what each one is itself.
It sounds like you might have to change on your rotor from lines to words.
Actually, he needs to go 2 lines. So what it's doing is it's reading the default. So you want to switch 2 lines with your rotor. So if you're not familiar with using your rotor, you'll want to explore that. And then you get, and Michael does cover the rotor in VO Starter. You'll get to lines, and then flicking to the right will not take you by each block of text. Which is typically paragraphs, I think. It'll take you to the next line, and then hopefully that'll help you out with getting through those.
Super. That's what I need to do. I'll try that. If that doesn't work, I'll give a call back.
One other thing I will say really quickly before you go is if there's things that are not showing up on the rotor, you may need to go in and either add them or remove them depending on what you're looking for on your rotor. So you would do that in the VoiceOver accessibility rotor area.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Eric.
Hey, Eric, how's it going?
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Right now, I use the notepad that's on the iPhone. My main question is, I have like huge hands, and they're a little arthritic. I have issues with those little icon buttons that are located on the iPhone. That controls little things like the speaker and
the physical buttons, volume, things like that.
Yeah, that are on the screen that trigger different things like on notepads or on websites and stuff. So to everybody out there, would using an iPad be more beneficial to me? Because I tried, like making, the little things as small as possible, and that makes it really bad because then I'm hitting 2 and 3 at a time, or swiping, is all the issue, and I'm not having a lot.
I would suggest possibly looking at maybe a Bluetooth keyboard, and maybe that might make it easier for you to navigate around. You'll have more space on the keyboard, and you have to be more, direct to do each action on the keyboard instead of trying to just swipe around with your hand and do the, double tap, double click, swipe, and all of that on the phone if it's too small of a space for you.
Right, because, we have so many different platforms now, and like on Clubhouse, everything's these little things over here on the top right. And although I set it to swipe down, my hand has a tendency to go a little farther over off the key, and then I have to start all over again. So the Bluetooth keyboard, you feel that might help me more than an iPad would.
Well, yeah, you can use a Bluetooth keyboard on your phone or an iPad.
A keyboard for the phone would be a better fit.
Yeah, I feel like you'll have to be more intentional about what you're doing. So you're not going to, make as many mistakes if you're having trouble with your hands. And it's easier to have more space. If you get a full-size keyboard, you can just have it on a table and you can actually navigate around, open items, and do all the things just straight from the keyboard for the most part without having to touch the screen.
Just like basically I have to do with my laptop. I have an exterior keyboard.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
You can also use voice control, and you can open up things with your voice, close things with your voice, and kind of control your device more with your voice. So that's something that's built in. You could go into, I'm assuming you have a current iPhone, is that, or something? What do you have for a phone?
13 running. I'm all updated.
Yeah, you could go into the settings and go to voice control and turn that on. And once you have that on, it'll allow you to, say, open up stuff, close stuff, dictate, all of that. You can also use Siri. Siri is also kind of a simpler way of doing that. So say like you want to open up the note-taking app, you can activate Siri, and then you could say open notes, and it will open up the notes app, or open Safari or stuff like that. So try those things.
It's the detailed stuff Series doesn't do.
Right. If you want to get more detailed and like really do dictating and, have more kind of control with your voice, then I would take a look at using voice control, and you just have to turn it on your phone and just kind of try it out and see if that works for you. But that's how you can use your device with your voice more than your hands. You use your voice to control everything.
Now, in that app that was mentioned in the beginning, is that covered in there?
Which app again are you talking about?
Wasn't there an app that said about
that app is for training, for teaching, so you can learn how to use the VoiceOver.
Oh, just for the VoiceOver. Okay.
Right, correct.
Okay. Is there a tutorial for using voice control?
The first place. Go ahead, Michael D.
So I do not know of, Michael, if you know of one, but we do not cover it currently in VO Starter. We may put something in there later, but.
Yeah, the first place I would look is Hadley.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Jewel. Jewel, you can unmute. You're still muted, Jewel.
Sorry about that. My Bluetooth keyboard just disconnected. So first I wanted to mention for Chat GPT, there also is an app that is called Perplexity, and Thomas Donville on Applebiz has a really good tutorial on that app. So I thought I'd mention that also. And then I definitely would also suggest the Bluetooth keyboard to the individual who has larger hands. And you might actually there's one called the Jellycom keyboard, and it is a multi-device Bluetooth keyboard. So it can do two devices. I have mine for my laptop and my main phone. So then I can also use it with my laptop, and it does have the numpad for your laptop. So then you don't have to use multiple keyboards for different devices. And if you decide to do that, if you go to the Apple website and you look for VoiceOver keyboard commands for iPad, those are the commands you'll use for VoiceOver on your phone also. If you go into the settings and you look under the commands for VoiceOver with the keyboard, those are actually full keyboard access commands. They are aware of this issue and have tried to fix it. They're not done with that. So those commands are not the commands you'll use. You'll want to look for the keyboard commands for iPad on the Apple help website. And if you reach out to me, my name is Jewel, I can give you the direct link to that command list, because I use a keyboard with my phone all the time.
Perfect, Jewel. Well, thank you. And thanks for dropping those tips in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I don't have a question right now, so I just figured I'd offer those suggestions.
All righty. Well, thanks a lot.
All right, Pam.
Hello. Well, first of all, I enjoyed getting the opportunity to meet Demasi at the Alabama ACB convention this past weekend.
Well, good.
So I'll put in a shameless plug for that. My suggestion for Judy is make sure, and I haven't had a chance to look up to find exactly where this setting is. Make sure that you don't have collaborate turned on. When you're sharing a note, if you have collaborate turned on, it's going to assume that you and the recipient are collaborating on a document, and it might send the note itself, but it's probably will not send the document. And even if it did, the recipient would have to type in your password, which of course they're not going to know. I learned that the hard way. Tried to share something and didn't realize collaborate was turned on. My question, and this may be too involved for what time we have left, is when I try to paste YouTube links, especially, but I've also had it happen with App Store links from, when I'm sharing an app from the App Store, and I paste that link into an email. It doesn't just copy the link. It copies a whole image and a whole bunch of stuff, and it assumes that you're sending it as an attachment. And then if you have to go back and edit the email, it gets all messed up because it's putting all those links where attachments would go. And my question is there any way that you know of to, when I've brought up a YouTube link, I've gone into share, I have hit the copy option. There is not a copy link. It's just copy, and it copies a whole lot of stuff. And then I put it in the email. It makes the email huge. I have to scale it down to a smaller size in order to even send them out if I have a handful of links on there. Is there any way to keep it from copying all that stuff and just send it as a little itty bitty link and not as an attachment? And if I didn't make that clear, I'll send y'all an email.
So I think I might have an idea, Pam. And
Please.
I'm going to give you something to try, because this is what I would try first. And if it doesn't work, feel free to come back. Under settings because this is on the iPhone, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So under settings in iPhone, under mail, there's an option that says add link preview, and that is on by default. It might be worth trying to turn that off and see if the experience is better, because when I copy a link on YouTube by using the share option and then choose the copy link option, and then I paste that into Drafts, which is my note-taking app of choice, it does not add any image details. So I think what's happening is Mail is pulling in a preview of that link and adding that to the email, which makes it harder to edit. So go into Mail and try turning that off and see if that makes a difference.
Michael is right on target
in
with
Mail
that one.
setting, under settings or under
settings, Mail. So go to settings and then go to Mail. And then you can find that button that turn link preview off.
I've never seen that. Wait a minute.
It's under the composing heading.
Under composing. Okay.
Yep, under composing, I am showing 3 different options. I'm showing always BCC myself, mark addresses, and then I'm also seeing the option that says add link previews. It's a switch that you can turn on or off.
I will look for that. I don't remember ever seeing that. Now, I will tell you, I am on an SE 2020. That might make a difference.
That shouldn't.
I'm not on one of the big fancy new phones.
That doesn't matter. It's about what operating system you have. You should be able to be on a current operating system, and you would have those features.
Yep. Go take a look there.
I have never, ever, ever, ever seen that option, but I will look again.
Let us know if it's not there, because I'm seeing it.
Another thing that you can do, I believe, because link previews show up in messages, they show up in a lot of different apps when you paste a link.
Yes, they do.
And typically, if you tap and hold on that link preview, it might bring up a menu, and you can. There's usually an option in there as well to make it back into a link. So if you do not see that,
I've tried that and it did not work. It did not work with VoiceOver.
Okay.
Because I was on with Apple Accessibility, and it did not. It was not working.
We'll try that setting, see if that works, and then get back to us next week and let us know.
Thank you much.
Yep.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
I need it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Next we have Rich.
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
Good, guys. Guys doing a good job. Thank you. I got a quick question here, and it's an easy one, I think. And I'll make it quick. This probably isn't real vital because it's involving a Windows 10 and computer. Because here lately, ever since I got my blind shell, I'm doing about 95% of my stuff on my blind shell, not using my computer near as much. So that's probably a good thing in the long run. But it's about NVDA. When I do occasionally use the computer, NVDA used to give like updates every few weeks or whatever. And I've noticed that, in the last 2 or 3 months, there haven't been any. So I was just wondering, are they still doing that, or they kind of put their project on hold? And that's kind of all I wanted to know, just so that you guys might know the answer. Thank you.
So it's not on hold. I think they're roughly at probably, and I don't know the exact update schedule by chance, but I would say every quarter or so, you can go into your NVDA menu, go down to help and choose check for updates to see if any updates are currently available, if it's not prompting you immediately. But I do know that they are still developing NVDA and there are updates being published, maybe not as much as there used to be in the past.
Okay, thank you. Also, I forgot to mention, my favorite note taker is the notes file in BlindShell.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for jumping in. We appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, Jeff, you can unmute.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Hi, Marty. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Wonderful. And salutations to the double Michaels as well. Can someone, do any of you three own or have used AirPods Pro 2?
I have a pair.
Can you first describe it and then describe how you put it in your ear?
Well, first of all, when you get them, there's a few different sets of tips. So you need to figure out which one's going to fit you the best. The ones that they come on right out of the box, I believe, is the medium, like the middle ones. Mm-hmm. So what you'll need to do is try some of the other ones. You might need one that's a size bigger or possibly a size smaller. But to get that real good fit, you got to figure out which tip is going to be the best one for you, create the best, most comfortable fit and seal. Once you've done that, usually what I do is I'll take it out of the case. I'll kind of put it in with the stem, which is the little straight part, facing forward just a little bit. And as I push it in, I kind of push the stem back just a small little bit. So it ends up kind of making a little bit of a tight seal there. And so the stem ends up kind of just like up and down, or possibly a little bit facing forward. It's a little bit of an individual basis on what's the most comfortable for you, but that's kind of what I do.
So
you can also,
my wife, sorry, go ahead, Michael.
You can also run there's a test, a seal test, to see if those tips work the best for your ears. So you can, put them on and then put both AirPods in, like Marty described, and then you can go to settings. I believe it's when you look at the information for the AirPods, and then you can do a ear test to see, and it will play tones and check microphones and determine if you have a good seal for those tips.
Okay. I very much value both what you guys said. I just wanted to make sure. I bought my wife a pair of AirPod Pro 2. Just I kind of wanted to see what she was going to think of them before maybe upgrading myself. And so I think what she's doing is reversing the left and the right. And she's, at least in my mind, she's taking the stem and it kind of fits in her ear, like above her ear canal, if that makes sense. And
you think she's putting them in her ears, the wrong, like the left bud and the right ear? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, with the stem.
So the way you can solve that is when you open up the case, maybe open up in front of you and take the one that's on the right side out and put that in the right ear and put the left one in the left ear, because you can't put them in the case wrong.
Right.
So if you lift the lid facing you and you pull each bud out, keep it on that side. Don't move it or anything. And you should be in the right ears.
And more specifically, when you open the case should open where the lid goes away from you, or where the lid opens and the headphones are towards you. The lid is away from you, and then you could pull them out when you're looking at it. In that way, the headphones have a button that will be on the back. So if you're looking at it that way, then you could pull out the right AirPod, put it in the right ear, pull out the left AirPod, put it in the left ear.
Okay, so the right one has a button on the back?
No, the case has a button on the
case.
back.
Okay. Well,
and then if you're going to change up the settings, you can either learn how to use the little stems, or you just go into settings, Bluetooth, find AirPods Pro 2, and then you go into options, and there you'll see transparency mode and all those other things. The first time, if you leave them in the off position and you don't do any of the modes, they might feel like your head's a little bit clogged up. So to undo that, you kind of put it in one of those other modes, and it will create and take away that like stuffy head feeling.
Okay. All right.
Especially if you put it in transparency mode, she'll be able to hear what's going on around her.
Okay. Well, she may hear, but she won't listen to what's around her.
We've got about 7 minutes left, Marty's, and it looks like we may have one more hand, I think.
All right, we'll take this last hand, and then we will be out of time.
This is a repeat question. So Pam, go ahead.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna jump back over here to settings, because what you asked about is not there. In mail, in under composing, I have always BCC myself, mark addresses. I have that turned off. The next one is increase quote level. I have no idea what that means. It's turned on. Include attachments with replies, and I have that set to ask. And then there is signature.
Okay.
And then you go to the default account.
So then, Pam, let me explain this to you. And this is why I should not open my mouth sometimes, because that is a button that they have added in iOS 17. Because I am seeing that button in iOS 17, and I'm seeing everything else you're seeing too. So,
So Pam, wait till September and your problems will be solved.
Oh, geez. And I need to send it today.
Well, good
luck. And it's a mess. I've got to completely rewrite the thing.
So, yeah, good luck with that, Pam. I'm sorry we couldn't help you more, but know that there are problems that'll be solved soon.
But what is increased quote levels?
It's to increase the quote level, the amount of how the message you're replying to visually looks on the screen, I believe.
So if you're going back and forth with someone and you send an email, then they reply, and then you reply back, and then it'll put a quote in there, and then they reply, and then the quote levels, depending on how you have it set up, puts it in the body of the email each time you send one back and forth. Sometimes you can set top or bottom or, stuff like that.
It increases the indentation.
There you go. That's the word I couldn't think of. Thank you.
Got it. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks. All right. Well, Michael and Sheila and Belle and Marty, thank you all for joining us today. Marty, go ahead and wrap it up. We are coming up on the top of the hour.
Yep. Thanks everyone for being here. We appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, you can email us at feedback@unmute.show. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next time.